In this lesson, we're going to be installing our PostgreSQL adapter inside our Docker environment. So open up your project source code, and we're going to go ahead and start by opening up the Docker file. So this Docker file right here, I'm just going to close that. Here's our Docker file. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of dependencies to this that we need in order to install our Psycop G2 package. So we'll start by adding a new line here under line 14. So this is after we've upgraded pip inside our Docker image. We're going to add a new line. It's going to be apk add --update --no -cache, and then PostgreSQL -client, and then &/. Then we are going to add apk add --update -no cache, and then --virtual, and then .tmp build deps, then just a / without the ampersands. And then I'm going to indent underneath this and type build -base PostgreSQL -dev musl -dev, and then &/. Then after we remove the temp file here, I'm going to add a new line. So apk del .tmp -build -deps &/. Okay, so let's save that. I'll just talk through what we did here. So on line 15, we did apk add and we installed the PostgreSQL client. So this is the client package that we're going to need installed inside our Alpine image in order for our Psycop G2 package to be able to connect to Postgres. So this is the dependency that needs to stay inside the Docker image when we're running it in production. Then below that on line 16, we define a new line that said apk add. Is very similar to the first line, except we have this virtual option here. So --virtual, and then .tmp build dep. I put dev, it should be deps. So apologies, I made a typo there. It's important that this here matches up to this line on line 23. And what this does is it sets a virtual dependency package. So it kind of groups the packages that we install into this name called temp build deps, and we can use this to remove these packages later on inside our Docker file. So below this line, we listed the packages that we needed in order to install our Postgres adapter. So that's build base, PostgreSQL dev, and musl dev. And this installs those packages. And then we install our requirements.txt. So we install the packages defined in requirements.txt, and we're going to be adding our Psycop G2 package there in a minute after I've explained everything in this Docker file. So once we've installed it, we then, down here on line 23, we remove the temp build deps. And all this does is it removes these packages that we installed up here on line 17. So because they were installed under the name temp build deps, we can install them easily without having to name them individually later on. And this just keeps our Docker file as lightweight as possible. So it keeps it lightweight and clean. And when we're running in production, we don't have any excess packages that aren't actually there specifically for running our application. Okay, so that's all the change inside our Docker file. Next, we need to open up our requirements.txt. And we're going to add a new line to the bottom, Psycop G2, and then greater than equals 2.8.6, comma, less than equals 2.9. So what this does is it defines our Psycop G2 package inside our requirements.txt. Now let's save that. Go ahead and head back to terminal. And if you're still running the Docker compose up command, you can push Control-C to stop it. And we can actually do Docker -compose down to clear any of the containers that are there, and then we'll type docker -compose build. And what this is going to do is going to rebuild our container, and it's going to rebuild it by running the steps that we've modified inside the Docker file. So it's going to install our Psycop G2 dependency, and we'll see if that works in a moment. We'll just wait for this to finish, and then we'll know if there's any errors inside our Docker file. Okay, so you can see that our Docker file built successfully. We didn't get any errors, and this means that we have successfully installed our Scicop G2 package inside our Docker file. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and commit the changes and push them to Git. I recommend that you just do that along the way, so I'm not going to remind you every time. Just as you're making changes, you can just commit the changes and then push them up to GitHub. Okay, so now let's move on to the next lesson.